Hello guys, my name is Mehnaz and today I am going to explain the poem Fire and Ice from 10th class CBSE English textbook First Flight. Fire and Ice is a short poem written by Robert Frost. In this poem, the poet refers to the two predictions of how the world would end. Some say the world would end in fire while the others say it will end in ice. So let us go into the detailed explanation of this poem. Before that, if you like my channel, if you like my explanation, click the like button, share to your friends and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much. Fire and Ice by Robert Frost from 10th class English CBSE textbook First Flight. About the poet, Robert Lee Frost was born on March 26, 1874 and died on 29 January 1963. He was an American poet. His work was initially published in England before it was published in America. Known for his realistic depiction of rural life and his command of American colloquial speech, Frost frequently wrote about settings from rural life in New England in the early 20th century, using them to examine complex social and philosophical themes. Frost was honored frequently during his lifetime and is the only poet to receive 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry. He became one of America's rare public literary figures, almost an artistic institution. Introduction of the poem. Robert Frost's poem Fire and Ice expresses the profound idea that the world would end in either of two ways, either by ice or fire. Both the components are accompanied with self-destructing human emotions, hatred and desire. The poem very artistically underpins the philosophy that we let our emotions rule us, and if we don't control them, they will surely destroy everything around us. Similarly, he thinks fire and ice both are just as competent in bringing the world to a catastrophic end. First stanza. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. The new words used in this stanza are desire, a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen. Favor, approval, support. The poem expresses the profound idea that the world would end in either of two ways, either by ice or fire. One group is of the opinion that someday the earth's core will get so heated up that it would lead to fire, destroying the earth's surface. On the other hand, the second group says that if the temperature goes down to an extent that makes life on Earth impossible, it would have the same catastrophic effect. The poet then compares the fire and ice with the destructive features of human emotions, desire and hatred. He says that from what he is aware about fairy desires, he would favor the ones who say that it would be fire. By saying so, he brings about the idea that human beings let their emotions rule them, and the consequence of unmonitored longing is chaos. Second stanza. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. The new words used are perish, die, suffice, be sufficient. Then, by not waiving off the first option of fire, he considers if the world has to expire twice, ice would be equally competent in ending it. He brings about a contrast between ice and hatred. The human capability of insensitivity and hatred has the potential for inner destruction. Though slow and steady, it has the same effect that desire has on us. So, if given an option between fire and ice, ice would be just as good as fire to destroy the world. Literary devices. Rhyming scheme is ABA, ABC, B, C, B. Assonance is repetition of vowel sounds in same line. The repetition is at different places in different words. For example, the long sound of O in I hold with those who favor fire. Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sound at the start of two or more closely placed words. For example, the sound of F in favor fire, W in world will. Imagery is used to make readers perceive things involving their five senses. For example, some say the world will end in fire to say that for destruction, ice is also great. Anaphora, the repetition of a word or expression at the start of two or more consecutive lines. For example, some say is repeated at the start of lines 1 and 2. Personification is to give human qualities to inanimate objects. In this poem, fire and ice are capable of destruction. Thus, the poet personifies fire and ice by giving them mind and power to destroy anything. Enjambment is defined as the thought or clause that does not come to an end at a line break. Rather, it moves over to the next line. For example, from what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. The summary of the poem. Robert Frost's poem Fire and Ice is a strong symbolic poem where fire is used as the emotion of desire and ice that of hatred. He has used the idea of two groups who have their own possible explanation for the end of the world. One is of the opinion that fire alone can destroy each and every possibility of life on earth, while the other thinks that if ice as a result of extreme low temperatures could cover the earth's surface, it would lead to the end of the world. Both the components are compared with self-destructing human emotions, desire and hatred. The poet is originally of the opinion that he has been very closely associated with the fairy desires and considers it capable of bringing human beings on the verge of destruction. Thus, he considers fire as more competent for destruction. But then he thinks that icy hatred is just as capable of ruining humans, though slowly and steadily. Therefore, if earth was to end twice, ice would be just as good as fire. If fire would lead to rapid destruction, ice would lead to silent damage. Similarly, if fire is pure passion, ice is pure reason. Thus, the poem very artistically underpins the philosophy that we let our emotions rule us, and if don't control them, they will surely bring us all on the verge of chaos. If you like my explanation, click the like button, share to your friends and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.